Episode number 204 of the Four Trained Savages podcast. My name is Rob. Tyler is on the other end of the Zoom room as always. The Yankees just finished up a series at home against the San Diego Padres. Tyler took 2 out of 3 from the Pods.
Hmm.
The argument could be made.
Could be the best team in baseball too, you know?
One of the better teams in baseball, but the argument
Yeah.
could be made. This is, the Yankees don't have a bit of another collapse that they've had
Yep.
in some of these late game situations. You're looking at a sweep, but neither here nor there. And the
That's
Yankees
baseball.
win the series. Yeah, that's baseball, Susan. And the Yankees win this series after uh, a bad weekend against Tampa Bay, which
Mhm.
had another late loss in there. I was in attendance for the Sunday game that was a little rainy. I mean, this whole week in New York has been really
Gross,
disgusting
dude. It's just been
weather-wise.
absolutely pouring.
But the Yankees now head on a West Coast trip. They'll be in playing the Athletics. I can't say they're the Oakland Athletics, but they play in that Sacramento
Who are
stadium
kind of nasty.
that are 20 and 18. So you're going in to play a pretty okay opponent, and then the
Yeah.
Yankees will be going to Seattle. I will also be making a trip out to Seattle to watch them go see that ballpark, so I'm very excited to see that. Uh, but Tyler, the Yankees now sit at 21 and 16. We were before we hopped on. You were like, this team should be 25 and or what was it, 26 and 11. This
26 and
team,
11 if you don't blow, eighth inning and ninth inning
fi-
leads virtually.
yeah, I think the stat from Katie Sharp and Yankees Twitter was 5 of these games at least should be won by the Yankees, and
Hmm.
so far they lead the league in these late game collapses. And we'll get into talking about Devin Williams, but it is a bright spot now to say the Yankees took 2 out of 3 against the Padres and handled business. But there's a that to get into because you're looking, hey, you have a bigger lead in the American League East. You could have had some racked up more wins, but we're here and we'll
Yeah.
talk all about it. So.
And I think in some sense too, this is where the internet gets weird with us it being May 9th and Yankee fans freaking out every other day. Um, Everything we kind of thought we knew in the offseason, we clearly did like things we were questioning the offense. The offense has arguably been the most productive in baseball. Things we were confident in, the bullpen arguably have been terrible
Yeah.
in this young season so far. Things we were confident in, starting pitching. We have virtually two and a half starters, if you will, right now. Um,
Max Fried
so
is
it's
nasty.
yeah, Freed is disgusting. But it's kind of cool to see, right? Because I think some question marks have been answered, and I think if you can kind of look in the Yankee scope logically and see how the rest of the year should develop, is like the bullpen in hindsight should figure itself out, and we have some reinforcements hopefully coming with pitching at some sense. So
Yeah,
could be in a much worse spot. Everyone, relax.
I agree. So, long season. We're still just now creeping up. I'm looking at my calendar here. Today's May 9th. So a lot. The Yankees got a lot of baseball left to play, and but they're still at the top of the American League East, and a lot of those teams in the division have their own warts and have their own problems. So,
American
but the
League's
Yankees
weird.
keep chugging along. So, um. I mentioned before we get into like the Padres series, I mentioned this is the last time we didn't record. We recorded last Thursday, I think it was. And they played Tampa that weekend. They had an off day on Thursday, similar to what they had this week. But they won the first game 3-0, and then the Tampa second game they lose 3-2 after just another late game situations. This one on Mark Leiter more so,
Mm.
where the Yankees have a 2-1 lead into the eighth, and you're thinking this is a game this team should be winning. This wasn't on Devin Williams particularly, but it was another Tyler. It was another. This is a game you have to have, and
Yeah.
this is one of those that rack up in that string of bad losses. And then if you fast forward to the first game against the Padres, then that was on Devin Williams and Luke Weaver got in this game as well. So I think like it goes back to sort of what you said that yes, they've lost these games and they're in a good situation. They're still in a position to
A
keep winning
fine
games. Yeah, they're
situation.
in a
Yeah.
fine situation, but I do think it is just frustrating to watch. And
For
because
sure. For
I
sure.
made the same point last year that I was more nervous about the bullpen, but then it found its way. It found its groove.
Mhm.
And I think now after seeing last year, I feel the same way about it.
I do
However,
too.
I'm are you still on the I'm not on the Devin Williams won't be good thing,
Hmm.
but I definitely think there's something to be said for him performing in New York. And I don't know if that's something that is I mean, to this point, we haven't seen it, and there's a lot of baseball left to be seen to be played. But I think that's where people will say, "Oh, like that's one thing about the Yankees that when you come here and you put on the pinstripes
Hmm.
and you play it's a factor."
Yep.
And I think it's no greater example, and I mean recent history of that. I mean, if you want to go back to Joey Gallo, I
Yep.
mean, maybe Josh Donaldson, but with Devin Williams, like now it's on every fan's radar, and now it's like I was watching MLB Network the other day. They're talking about it
Hmm.
at great lengths because they're like, Devin Williams has been amazing for 4 years. I don't know if maybe it was Pete Alonso
It's the
after that
same
home
thing as
run,
if
but
like Garrett Cole came out one year and was just terrible. Like it's the same
ah,
logic, you
I
know?
don't know. I guess
Dude,
I
Devin
think
Williams has been that dude for a
But
while.
but we've talked about how the relief pitchers are I wouldn't compare it the same way to starting pitchers
Yeah, they're
because
volatile.
they're way I think that because there we've seen when Chapman was a great closer and then he fell off a cliff in 2020 and 2021
Yeah.
and then he really couldn't get it back. He's contributing a little bit with the Red Sox, but I I, I don't know if I'd make that comparison. I still think he can be good, but I really
Just to put into perspective how good he's been, he has received MVP votes in 2 seasons. It's pretty good.
Milwaukee is not New York.
No, I agree, but I would also argue, and listen, I'm in no sense like, I mean, you heard you saw the text I sent you last week, and my feelings on Devin after some of those games, but I would argue that like we did see him perform in New York in a high leverage spot for the first time 2 days ago, where he
No,
came in and struck out the side. Like
that that was
that's
big.
a foot in the door type of thing, right? And like at the end of the day, I hope Devin can be the closer because I think Luke Weaver is much more valuable as a 1.2 innings pitch guy, can come in at the end of the seventh pitch against a big batter and then take on the eighth. And like, I think he's more valuable as like that old Michael King role. Um, we'll just have to see. I think the Yankees are going to try everything they can do, man, to put him in a position to be himself. And you just kind of got to hope that like he gets a few more moments like he had the other day against the Padres where he fires himself up and gets some confidence and then hopefully we just fucking forget about April, honestly. Like I mean this team is better with Devin as a closer, I think. Um Again, if we're talking about this in June, there might not be going back to like, hey, let's get you to be the closer. Um you kind of got a big month ahead of you.
Yeah, they turned the page. I don't know if I'm ready to say I don't know. I do totally agree with your point that it would be ideal if Devin Williams could be the closer because then I think I agree that Luke Weaver in sort of a Michael King role that he was in the bullpen would be something a little bit more valuable to the team.
Like Devin's not coming in pitching 2 innings anywhere, you know?
Hmm. But I think I mentioned it last episode. It comes back to the mindset, like Luke Weaver's got the FU attitude, and Devin
Hmm.
Williams right now does not have that. But he showed it a little bit in the game three that we'll talk
Yeah.
about, which was nice.
It was nice. It was good to see.
Flipping it from game one and that whole debacle. So
Yeah.
the only way, and the point's always made that you're only gonna get out of those situations to get back on track is if you pitch for the team and you go in those
Got to pitch well, man.
situations. Maybe they're not exactly the ninth, and the Yankees have done that. So
Here's something
and two,
for you.
also too, the bullpen's not at full strength, so he's going to
No.
continue to get that. He's going
Well,
to
why is he
continue
good?
to be there. So
Yep. Here's something for you. His last 5 outings, he's only given up an earned run. That first game against San Diego where he screwed us. We're getting somewhere. That's all I'm saying.
We'll
As long
see.
as the changeup looks good, I think he'll figure it out.
Don't give
It's
up
it
11 earned runs in the
no,
month of May,
absolutely
please.
not. But yeah, when I mean Tampa, Toronto, like those games where the changeup isn't moving and shit, like that is more scary to me even more than the numbers. But seeing him make some good hitters look very silly, it was a good picture for me to see.
Fair enough. Fair
I'm
enough.
not sold, Rob. I'm not sold, but I'm rooting for him.
Fair enough. Updated news. Giancarlo Stanton was taking more swings and
Crazy good
actually hitting
news,
off
man.
live pitchers. And a report from Brian Hoke noted that the Yankees, when he will be, if everything goes well, knock on wood, that when he's first eligible off the 60-day IL, I think it's at the end of May or early
He said he'll be
June.
back the end of May. Yeah.
So, hey man, we need a righty bat. We talked about it last
Yeah.
episode. If Giancarlo Stanton,
G's playing third, man.
yeah, put Stanton at third. Let's see it.
Gonna have a hell of a juggling act with Ben Rice, my friend.
Yeah. Um, but if everything goes well and everything is on track with his recovery and rehab,
It's huge.
if Stanton is hitting in this lineup by June and he's that right-handed bat that the Yankees really, really need in this
Mhm.
lineup right now, that's going to be a big boost to this team and into the summer months. So um, people will look at him as injury prone, which he clearly is and has his issues. But even if he can, in any capacity that he can contribute this year, because honestly, when the first reports came out before the season during spring training
We
about
were
these
like, all right,
elbow
see
issues,
you never, dude.
yeah, we were thinking that there's no way he's touching a field, but now it looks like he's at this moment in time on track to be back, which is a very, very good thing because this
And
Yankees team really needs him.
and to be fair too, like I think the Yankees and Stanton and his camp have probably collectively decided there's 0 point in rushing him. Like just get my man healthy for October. Brian Hoke had a pretty cool interview on someone's podcast of he was talking about Stanton in the playoffs, and Hoke said he would come in the second the stadium opened at like 2, 3 o'clock before every playoff game. And Stanton is full blown, the only person on the field, bang, 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 just taking BP. And he's like, that's exactly how tennis elbow kind of finds itself is just way too much repetition in a short period of time. So, like, if G kind of just went balls to the wall to try and win us the chip last year and it sacrificed a couple early months in this season, and he's just going to gear up for a playoff run again this year, I mean, for me, that's all I can ask for, dude. Right? Is like give me the big moments. And I think he's low key going to be more of an asset to this team in the lineup than he really has been in recent years because they're not so strikeout and slow paced heavy. So now it's like they're not a station to station team anymore with like Voit, Gary, Judge, this, that, and the third. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing for a big slugger like Stanton that kind of is station to station to be in this currently constructed lineup. I think he's not as much of a hole as he may have been at one point when he looked silly at times. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of pumped, man.
Start giving Ben Rice some reps at third base, baby.
Yep.
That's the third baseman.
Yeah, but maybe it just becomes like would you be upset with a Stanton platoon, man? Like Ben Rice
Not
faces
really.
all the righties and Stanton faces all the lefties,
I, I'm
Like I'm
not.
kind of okay with that.
I'm not mad at it. And come playoff time, depending on how Ben Rice continues the year, and
Hmm.
I mean, I think, and if Stanton's healthy, I would say there's no way you can take him out of the lineup in a
Yeah.
postseason thing. So that's one thing. But yes, throughout the year, if that's the track that is
And how
what get
nice would it be to have one of those bats off the bench, dude?
yeah,
Like at some
exactly.
point,
So and here's the thing, like, you know, there will probably be a debate if Ben Rice like finishes the year with like over 800 OPS, and I totally understand that.
Hmm.
But
I
yeah,
really think it will,
there's no
dude.
nothing wrong with having that sort of depth where Rice takes a back seat. And there'll be a little debate of like, oh, should he be hitting instead of and then you address it when it comes to that point. But
Even if they each just play 4 games, like let's say, Ben plays 4 games a week by alternating DH spots with G, and then he spells Goldie once a week. Maybe he gets behind the dish and spells Wells once a week. I think there's
hey,
enough playing time.
Ben Rice was catching some games, Tyler.
I
I
mean,
think he
bro,
got it.
I totally like. I'm not joking at all. I totally believe they way more view him as a catcher, as
I
a third
Here's the
baseman,
thing too.
like way more.
I know JC Escarra had the walk off in this third game.
It's a good story, Rob. That's just about it.
It's good. It's a good story, but if Stanton gets back and he's healthy and he's
And Rice is your
playing
backup
and
catcher.
Ben Rice, I'm kind of for that. I am
Yeah,
for that.
man.
And if he's hitting,
I'm kind of getting
and
excited just talking about this.
I agree. I think that's the route. I mean, this Ben Rice has caught before. He
Yeah.
did it once this year so far when he got in the game. But if that's the route, and you could tell me that that's a lineup of Rice and and Stanton, obviously a playoff situation would be different because you got to fit Wells in there and how that
You
shakes
virtually
out.
have
But
like a rotating bat off the bench of in some way Goldie, Ben, or G.
I'm
Like one of those guys could come off the bench at any point in time.
yeah, I'm getting excited now.
Yeah,
I'm getting
it's kind of
excited.
cool. And
Um,
I know I don't want to go too far into this because I imagine we got stuff to get to, but DJ's probably gonna join the team like this week, I think. Just throwing that out there.
oh
It's not like
man.
Waldo has exactly earned an opportunity, nor Peraza, but
No, he hasn't. I mean, people in our
Waldo's fly ball bunt before they scored 10 runs really pissed me off the other night. Like a lot.
yeah, me too, man. Me
I'm
too.
like, that's like one of your only jobs, dude.
In other news, before we dive into these games, Carlos Carrasco was DFA'd on Tuesday, and then he
Back with the club.
went unclaimed on waivers and was outrighted to AAA. So I mean, Yankees just starting staff after Rodon
Yeah.
and Fried is and Clark
Just got to get heel back, dude.
is not ideal, but
I forget Stroman's on the team actually too. Like these
yeah,
are things I really don't even remember.
yeah.
What
Other
is
new,
good with him? Is there anything there?
let's see. I honestly think they sent him just
They just sent
to
him to the underworld like
to the
he's gone.
abyss. I haven't. There's no real. Yeah. I mean, there's no real recent news that I can see here.
Let's see. Marcus Stroman injury. I'll follow up.
But also another noteworthy thing: Yankees had promoted George Lombard to Somerset, so that stud
That's
down in
cool.
the we saw him during spring training, and Yankee fans got excited for him. So he's making his way up. I think I also saw Spencer Jones landed on the IL. Um,
How's he
and
been playing?
and did you see him change his stance completely? By the way, did you
Yeah,
see
they
those
just
clips?
it's all over the place with him.
He has a sideline by an intercostal injury, so he's
Seven
in
day
Double A.
IL. They have that
Um,
what's he got?
but
926 OPS, huh?
but also Tyler, one thing that I wanted to mention since we're talking about the younger players, and I know this has been sort of a topic
Yeah,
swept under the rug a little bit, simply
let's do
because
it.
of the defense. But what do you make? I texted you, I think maybe it was a couple games ago or whatever. But
Mhm.
what do you make of what they're doing with Dominguez right now? Are you frustrated with it? Do you think it's the right thing to do? Like, what's your vibe on that?
So I am totally cool with the Dominguez approach, and specifically because Trent has forced their hand.
Hmm.
If Trent was bad, this wouldn't really be a thing. And at the end of the day, Jason has still played 31 games this year. The two highest, everyone else has played 37, 33, 36. So it's not like he's playing half of the games. I have zero issue that him and Trent have the exact same amount of games played, 31 each. Jason has 20 more plate appearances, 15 more AB. So I'm totally cool with how they've approached Jason. It seems like this is kind of what they're going to do. I don't think they have too much confidence in him as a righty bat, even though he did have two hits the other day from the right side. But seriously, I'm okay with it because I really don't think like when he takes a seat, I don't think it's like a punishment like for him that the Yankees are doing. Like, you bench Glaber for not hustling, like you're being reprimanded in some way. I don't
Hmm.
think he's being like reprimanded or like giving Trent run because Jason's been bad. Because one, I don't think he's been bad. And two, Trent's just been really freaking good. Like we haven't even talked about Trent enough, to be honest. Like he's sitting here with 10 homers on the year and a 1 OPS, and we're 5 weeks into the 6 weeks into the season. So like, I'm totally cool with what they've done with Jason. I of course want to see him get as many ABs as possible, but he's not in a spot where I'm wishing, like, I'm like, damn, you should definitely have way more right now. Like, you should be playing more. Like, they're not Perazaing him. He's not getting as, like Peraza's played 18 games this year, 44 plate
He's been
appearances.
making some in the spots
Peraza's
that he's
been an
played,
absolute
and
disappointment,
and
dude.
he's messing up in the field and not
Yep.
hitting. Or so
So
I
like
now
that's where
it's
I'm at with him. If he had really only been playing a few of the games and is really an afterthought and like a fourth or fifth outfielder, then I'd be frustrated. I don't think that I think he's really in a platoon spot with Trent as the third guy virtually. They have four outfielders, you know. They have
yeah.
Trent, Jason, Belly, and Judge. And you're not going to bench Belly. You just can't bench Trent. I mean, you just can't do it. You're not benching Aaron Judge. Something's got to give, and I'm okay with the way they've balanced it so far. So that's my long answer
Did you
for you.
see people calling Cody Bellinger Jacody Bellinger? I,
That's funny, dude. If you split it up, his numbers over his last like 14 games, I don't think are like too bad, honestly.
he's been getting better, but I know
91
why
OPS
people
plus
have.
right now. He's kind of getting up there, and I will say too, the dude plays a stupid center field, just in terms of like getting to balls.
Mhm.
Like I have zero issue watching him. I'm fine with Bill. I'm fine with lineup is not giving me too much stress, Rob, honestly.
Um, yeah, no, with the especially like the Dominguez thing, as long as Trent Grisham is hitting, you have to find a spot for him. I mean, you hit, you play, you get found a spot in the lineup when you're hitting the way Trent Grisham is right now. I mean, just to talk about it a little bit, I think we may have mentioned it last pod or the pod before. It's crazy to it's crazy to think, but Trent Grisham has a 1.016 OPS.
Unbelievable, dude. It is
He
unbelievable.
has 10 home runs and 20 RBIs, and we joked that this is the star of that trade with San Diego, and
I
it's
talked
just
some shit a few weeks ago. Like, I don't think this is gonna happen.
it's a joke. It was a joke, but like Trent Grisham is mashing for the Yankees, and he is a huge reason why they've had some early success and
hmm
why they're leading the division. I mean, he already got double digit home runs. Tyler,
He's 28, Rob, too. Like I feel like the consensus is that like he's this old dude that's like a journeyman almost. And
yeah,
he's kind of not,
but
you know.
like if we would have thought Trent Grisham's potential total home runs for the year would have been 10 home
hmm
runs at this point. And I mean, we knew Jason was going to have a bigger role in Bellinger
Yeah.
and then Judge, and we thought Trent would be more of a bench piece. But when he hits the way he is in these big spots for the Yankees, you got to put him in
Ice
the
cold
lineup.
too, Rob.
You
Ice freaking cold.
you got to put him in the lineup. Yeah, and the
Yeah.
bat flips are just stellar. So
hmm
and we're joking about him being the prize of the Padres trade, but I
He,
mean, there's real value in this dude,
yeah.
and like it's really fun to see. Like a month ago when we were recording, we were saying we're really excited to see what Trent Grisham can do. And sure, maybe it'd be a little jokingly, but like he's playing so good right now,
Yeah.
and he's playing a good outfield too at the same time. So Trent Grisham is, I think, by far the biggest surprise of the Yankees season.
100%. And to when you have that surprise, and then you do, in some sense, have the surprise of Ben Rice there too, like it really puts the organization in a spot that they feel like more powerful than I feel like they ever really intended on being this year while losing three starters virtually. Um, so very, very cool to see Trent, man. And it's also, I love in the Boone, all the Boone interviews and the pressers and stuff. He's like almost apologizing for not playing him more last year. Like he's like, I wish I could have gotten him more ABs throughout last year.
Instead of Verdugo.
And yeah, and like just words like you've really never heard Boone like go back on things like that. And I'm like, yeah, man, Trent. So maybe this whole time last year when we were having these stupid conversations, like we got to get Jason up because Verdugo's so bad, blah, blah, blah. It was right in front of us the whole time, Rob. It was just Trent Grisham. It was, you just let Trent bang, baby, and and we win the World Series, baby.
Oh man, it is.
But
It's
you love
crazy to
it with
see.
Trent, man.
It's
1.1 WAR. It's nuts.
it is really crazy. Okay, so let's talk about the series that happened this past week. Today's Friday, so we're talking about the Yankees had an off day yesterday. So, first game, Yankees have the lead, have a 3-0 lead, Tyler, after as we were speaking about, Trent Grisham 2-run home run. Volpe gets a sac fly in the bottom of the sixth. Also pitching in this one, Carlos Rodon, another very good start for Rodon. 6 2/3, 3 hits, 0 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. Very good start for Carlos Rodon. So he continues what we've been
Big
asking him
game.
to do. That's 4 in a row for him. So
Hmm.
very nice to see. And then in the top of the eighth, Devin Williams comes in, only pitches 2/3 of an inning, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, and just a lot of base traffic. And this was easily one of the more frustrating losses of the year, simply
Yeah.
because it was what we had seen in a few of the other losses. But Tyler, I mean, we spoke about it when we opened the pod. They had the one of the better teams in baseball on the ropes and gonna kick off the series with a win, and they just freaking gave it away.
It was like a
Um,
2023 vibe right there.
oh, 100%. And Luke Weaver only goes a third of an inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, and he came in to do some mop up, but couldn't get
I
out of it
will
for Devin.
say, I will get on Weaver a little. Like, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
hammer him because Devin
no,
put him in a bad
absolutely.
spot, but he threw two fastballs down the dick. Excuse my French. To two really good hitters, and it shit happened.
Yeah, so really
Yeah,
aggravating loss. And then game two on the mound for this one, we had Clark Schmidt goes 6 innings pitched, 7 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Padres
I
had
like
the
some Clark,
lead
man.
up until the top of the fourth, thanks to this was weird. Clark Schmidt balks with the bases loaded in the top of the
Mhm.
fourth, so that was not good. And then Hayward got Jackson Maryland with a sacrifice fly to put them up 2-0. And then Aaron Judge, a little home run action in the bottom of the fourth, and a Dominguez single to tie the game at 2. Then Fernando Tatis in the top of the seventh gives the Padres a double to right to score in Sheets, puts them up 3-2. And then the bottom of the seventh, Tyler, one of the
It's a
craziest
great
innings. The
inning,
Yankees
man.
put up a 10 spot in the seventh
On
inning.
Wandy.
They go, yeah, on Wandy Peralta. So Austin Wells singles to get in Dominguez. Trent Grisham walks in on a bases loaded to get in a runner, and then Ben Rice with a double, Bellinger single, Volpe reaches on an infield single, and then Austin Wells grand freaking slam, and they put up a 10 spot batting around the order, and then the Yankees bullpen comes in. Real shout out to Fernando Cruz, has who we haven't talked about at great lengths, but a really solid piece that the
Been
Yankees
one
have
of the best
found.
pitchers in baseball for
1.37 ERA, has 2 saves on the year, 29 strikeouts. He's been a weapon that they've gotten from Cincinnati, and
and the Ks per nine, bro, are
shout out to
insane.
Trevi too. I mean, that really was a trade that worked out for both teams.
Hmm.
Trading Trevino, he's having a pretty good year for Cincinnati over there. So a win-win and another really great bullpen piece for the Yankees and kind of like an emerging star, honestly,
Matt
Tyler.
Blake, man. I mean, yeah, 1.37 ERA. He's striking out 13.3 batters per nine innings. Like that's an insane number right there.
Yeah.
Um, and again, bullpen's not at full strength yet, and got a lot of ball to go. So he's been a stud, bro. An absolute stud.
Really good. Um, so the Yankees win this one, 12-3, and then Wednesday's game, this was with Max Fried on the mound, just stellar. Seven
Right
innings
after the
pitched,
Knicks won,
1 earned
too.
run. Yeah, I know. Maybe we'll sprinkle in a little. Knicks basketball is
Yeah.
rolling right now. We're both Knicks fans, if you guys don't know. 8 strikeouts. Dylan Cease had a no hitter in this one. 6 2/3, 1 earned run after Cody Bellinger got him in the bottom of the seventh with the solo home run. Tyler, that was a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
It was a bomb.
it
He
was
went
a
up and got
bomb.
it too. It was like at his neck almost. It
Yeah.
seemed like.
And then Ian Hamilton in this one, not a great outing, goes a third of an inning, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and the Padres were able to get a 2-run lead, 3-1. And then, man, This guy keeps freaking doing it. Trent Grisham, 2-run home run to tie the ball game.
Off the bench.
And then Devin Williams into the game with the ghost runner on, gives up a walk, had some base traffic in there. And you had spoken about it, how fired up he was to get off the mound in that top of the 10th with the ghost runner, and
Mhm.
was really just like, I think just a combination of being pumped up in the moment, letting out a lot of frustration, and hopefully this is something like that moment is something that can turn his season around,
Yeah, get some
really
confidence back, man.
and
Something.
really just get him going. Sacrifice bunt to third, really well done by Oswaldo Cabrera in the bottom of the 10th to get Dominguez over to third, and then Escara comes in to hit for Peraza to have the sac fly, and the Yankees win the series and win the game. So disappointing first game, but the Yankees in the next two really did a really good job, and thanks to just good pitching in this series too. The starters and
Mhm.
some of the bullpen arms, even though the first game was really disappointing, and Ian Hamilton from the bullpen wasn't so good, but series win, man. It's all we
Yeah,
need.
man. Exactly. They made up for it. Would have been nice to have the sweep. But you got to stop blowing games. But good to see that especially coming off a bad series against Tampa, you're facing one of the best teams in baseball at home before you head down to the West Coast or out to the West Coast, and you take care of business. You win a series, which is all we could kind of ask for there. So
100%.
very
Uh,
pleased.
let's dive into our savages of the series. So I want to give a shout out. This guy has had a struggling start to the year after a good rookie campaign, but Austin Wells in that second game, I want to shout him out.
Mhm.
Had the grand slam, 3 for 12 in the series. Now has a 733 OPS on the year. So not terrible, but we know up to this point that Wells has been a bit disappointing, but there's a lot of season left. But just that bottom of the seventh was just so exciting in the second game, and he started it off with the single to get a run across the board, and then capped it off with a sick grand slam. So I'm really hoping to see Austin Wells turn things into gear, and I tried his burrito at the stadium, Tyler. It was pretty good.
Was it? Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's not bad. So I
can't
think
be
it's a
too
good
hard to
menu
mess
item.
something up like that.
Yeah. So shout out Austin Wells. That's who I'm going to go with for the Savage of the series.
There we go. All right, Rob. I don't know if we've given this player a an award yet, but maybe we have. I don't think I have, but if not, it's long overdue. And we just spoke about him. It's Trent Grisham, dude. Virtually came in here, kind of won a series for us, if you will, or at least gave us the opportunity to do so.
Against the former
He-
team too.
Yep,
His former
against his
team.
former team, he hit 2 home runs this series. He had 5 RBIs. Only 2 hits. Both of them were homers, but that's what we need, brother. So it has to be Trent for me. I think we've already done enough in terms of kind of singing his praise so far. 292 on the year, 376 on base, 640 slug, 1 dot for the year, 184 OPS plus. He has been a dude for us, and that's who I'm giving it to.
Nice. My Savage slump watch.
They stink.
I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna combine these, and I don't know if I'm stealing
Do
one that
it.
you would take, Tyler, but you could find
Sick.
another one. Just that first game, I'm gonna say Devin Williams and Luke Weaver. I think like you made a good point that Weaver was leaving some cookies across the plate and didn't help him out in the way that we had wanted it to. We knew it was a difficult
Mhm.
situation, but that inning is a situation where the win is right there for you to take, and that would have been a sweep, and that's why I'm going to give it to both of them. Um, but I think I want to note that final game in Game 3, which we've talked about a lot in this episode, was
Mhm.
something that's could get
Best
Devin
game of the
Williams
year,
back
Rob.
on track, and now it's like, okay, going into play. I was going to say going into playing Oakland, but going into play the Athletics for now. They don't officially have a city, or I don't know if they signed their thing with Vegas, but now it's like, all right, let's go, Devin, get back
Mhm.
on track. Month of May, let's hit the ground running. Historically, your April has been terrible. this year's April has been really
Season
bad.
starts today, Devin.
Season starts today. The old adage, season starts today. So that's what I'm going with.
Alrighty. Not bad. Here I am looking for who to give it to. I'm gonna piggyback off of kind of what you did. Um, I'm gonna give it to, let's see. Hold on. Here we go. I'm gonna give it to Oswaldo, and I'm gonna give it to Oswald. Um, just haven't done it for me yet, guys. Waldo with the pop-up bunt. Um, he did have a hit in this series. He had a double, but outside of that, one for
He
five.
had the sack bunt too. I'll give him that.
He
And
did have the
the butt.
sack bunt. Yep.
Yeah.
Couple Ks. It's tough because, I would utilize one of the closers, but I don't want to nitpick on the games we won. So it's going to be Oswaldo in a sense for me. And it's going to be Peraza, even though he's gotten so rude of me. He's gotten inconsistent playing time his whole life virtually.
Yeah, but
Um,
he was making errors though in the series,
yeah,
like late in the
yep.
game. I saw the Sunday game against Tampa, he made a big F up that then
Mm-hmm.
spiraled into Will Warren having a bad start. So
Exactly. Haven't done it in the field. Haven't done it at the plate. No hits in this series for Peraza either. Did score a run, but you're not cutting it for me at third base. I don't really think the Yankees care too much because their Lord and Savior's coming back, DJ LeMahieu. um,
it's arriving.
but if I'm gonna pick on someone, that's who it'll be. It'll be
Fair.
them too for
Fair. So that is it for those series. And, looking ahead, like I mentioned, I got the little schedule to the right of me. So they got the Athletics this weekend. They have Seattle next week, which I'll be in attendance for. And then, Tyler, that next weekend,
Dodo.
Juan Soto is coming back to the Bronx. So
Mm-hmm.
we won't be recording next week because I'll be out in Seattle. But I did want to like touch a little bit on what we expect. Like, I at the end of the day, Subway Series is more just a bragging rights BS, but we know both
Yeah.
teams could potentially meet in the World Series for an actual Subway
Huh?
Series. But I mean, my expectations for that series, they don't play in the same division, they don't play in the same league. So
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the outlook of the standings, but it's Tyler, now the Subway Series has a certain kind of juice after Soto leaving.
Yeah.
Like I know for you, I know when we talked about it, you never really disliked the Mets, but just because of Soto, it's like
It's just they were in some sense a little like it's just irrelevant to me.
it is,
The
but
majority of my adult life they've been irrelevant to me.
and yeah, exactly. But now they have a good team this year, and I fully expect like Juan Soto is going to
Hmm.
be berated on next weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be a bad time for him.
It's going to be well, maybe he embrace, and that's like hopefully that's not what kicks off his season a
Yeah,
little bit better, and
he's
maybe it
either
is
gonna have a really good series or a really bad series.
so. Um,
But he had a couple home runs this past series against the D-backs, I think. So
but the
so does fast.
Mets are a good team so far this year. So the Yankees really, and you
Lowest
mentioned
ERA
it,
in baseball, I
Oakland.
think.
Oakland is 20 and 18, so they're above 500. So they clearly are capable of winning games. So I mean, these next four series, you have the Athletics, you have Seattle, you have the Mets, and then you have Texas. So these
Mhm.
are good quality teams. Like Seattle's, I think, still first place in the West, and I think Texas is
Yeah,
right behind them. And they're kind of that
the
division's
West
kind
is
of
weird
lumped
over
up.
there. Yeah,
It is weird.
it's
So
like our division virtually.
but let's get this thing on. Let's get this thing moving. Even though the Yankees have a depleted starting rotation, but they clearly this win against San Diego, huge man. And I'm expecting the next weekend should be very fun for. I know I had a couple people. They're like, we have to go to the game. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be here because I'm
Mhm.
going to the series before. But that
Yeah.
thing is gonna be stacked out, man. The Bronx is gonna be buzzing.
No, that'll be a crazy game. I'm really just hoping on this West Coast trip to just kind of obnoxious to say, but I don't know. Is it crazy to say go win every series? You
Yeah,
know?
no. What
Like I don't know.
take four? Give me 4 wins, man.
Is each game a 3 game set or
Yeah.
each series a 3 game set? So 3 games. So
Yep.
you play 9 games. So go win 5 or 6 of them at least,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah, it's
you
weird.
know?
They go on this mini West Coast trip and then they do a even bigger West Coast trip at the end of the month. They go then Colorado
So
Angels,
annoying.
Dodgers. So
So go. The floor should be 5-4.
I agree.
It's tough to travel. It's tough on the body. You're playing a few good teams, So I won't get on them too hard. Be 5-4, and I won't throw a hissy fit.
Fair enough, man. Keep that
But be
division
go
lead.
6-3 though.
Keep that
Really.
division lead. Keep
Yeah.
up at the top there, and we'll be happy. We'll be happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so that's it for episode 204. Thank you guys for joining us. If it's your first time on the channel, be sure to subscribe. Leave us a rate and review on Apple and Spotify. Follow us on social media, Instagram, TikTok, X. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening to episode 204. We'll catch you at 205. Peace.